Hey there, horror movie tea sippers.
The following podcast will contain spoilers for the movie we are about to review. If you have not seen the movie and do not wish to have anything ruined prematurely, then please do not continue to listen until after you have seen the movie.
And welcome to the Horror Movie Tea Podcast. Navi, future happy holidays. I don't know. It's like I didn't want to just say Christmas because obviously December isn't just Christmas. So I'm trying to be inclusive without like naming every single holiday that exists in December.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot. So Merry Christmas, Happy Yule, Happy Kwanzaa,
Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah. Whatever you celebrate, enjoy.
Yes. Yes.
This is a month of celebration.
Yes. And we kind of did. I think it's a really good transition movie to start the holiday season. We are doing Gremlins today. And on a very special day, the day that this posts is going to be Jess's birthday. And she was the one that's like, we need to do Gremlins on my birthday.
We need to do it. I grew up with this movie. I watch it every year. It was a must. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. We were watching Gremlins.
See, and I was introduced to this movie in is either late middle school or early high school. So I didn't grow up with this movie, so I don't have quite the same nostalgia as you do. But we will get more on our thoughts in a little bit.
About your childhood.
My childhood was fine, just maybe a little bit more sheltered. But yeah, trust me, going from a private school to a public school, you get up to date pretty quick. But anyways, so tea. I will start us off. I was extremely tempted to start to drink an energy drink that had green tea in it and kind of cheat. But I got the okay that I can do that. But today I decided instead to opt for my normal Numi gunpowder green tea. I wanted something that would perk me up, but I still want to be allowed to be lazy because it's Sunday.
I wanted something a bit more festive, but still have some kind of caffeine because I'm running on like 5 to 5.5 hours of sleep today, and like 6 the night before. So I am drinking Bigelow's vanilla chai tea.
Ooh.
With a little bit of sugar and a little bit of milk. And it is delicious.
That sounds amazing.
It's a very, very holiday flavor. I love it.
And shout out to anyone who stayed up until 2 a.m. to watch the live stream of Unis Honest. I know this will be coming out many weeks after Unis Honest ended, but we are still within that weekend. Me and Jess stayed up until 2 and kind of also was pondering our mortality and how precious life is,
and saying goodbye to a channel that we've been watching pretty much every day.
Yeah.
Since it came out. So, Memento Mori, Unis Honest. Thank you for the memories.
Yes. And I shouted them out multiple times on our Twitter, so people who are like, what is this? But
it's a thing you kind of had to be there for.
Yep. But anyways, not to harp on that too much because I know
it's still fresh.
I know it is still fresh, but
let's get to the movie.
Yes. All right. So Gremlins. This father goes into a Chinese. He called it a junk store. It's like a trinket store to me. I don't consider that stuff junk, but anyways.
We would have had a field day in
Yeah.
this store.
We
You and
would
me.
have.
Like,
But he finds this little cute creature that they call, it's I can't,
Mogwai.
Mogwai. Yeah, it's like, I always have trouble like remembering how to pronounce it.
Mogwai.
But the guy ends up somewhat unethically getting the animal, and he brings it home and gives it to his son. But the kid that gives him the Mogwai specifically says, don't give him any sort of water, even if it's just a drink. Don't feed him after midnight, and then also make sure that he's not exposed to the sun at all. Well,
Like no bright lights,
yes.
and the sunlight can kill him.
Yes.
So
I hope most people are familiar with this. But anyways, so the son gets the gizmo and he has I guess it's a neighbor kid. So
yeah, it's another town kid that he's familiar with. The kid knocks over a jar that had water with paintbrushes in it, and some of the water gets onto Gizmo, and he multiplies.
yeah. So apparently the reason why you don't want to do the water is it causes them to reproduce. And Gizmo is the nicest out of all of the Mogwai, so...
Dude, I have to wonder if they got some of the inspiration from seeing a husky shed. Because I've gotten clumps of fur off of Amy that were the size of the little fur balls that popped off of Gizmo.
But anyways, so they quickly find out water causes them to reproduce. Sun or bright lights does hurt them. And the reason why you do not want to feed them after midnight is because it causes them to turn into gremlins. Like little green monster dudes. But
With very sharp claws.
yes. But as we all know, it ends happy. They kill the gremlins and Gizmo is left and he gets taken away again by the owner of the shop because he's like, you do not deserve Gizmo because you
are
effed
not
up.
ready.
Yeah.
See what happens, you not ready.
Yeah. So I think that's a good enough summary.
Shenanigans ensue.
Yes. So off to entertainment. I think I'll go first because I probably have a little less to say than you. This might hurt your heart, and I'm sorry if it does. I'm scared of your look right now. I'm sorry. I would probably rate this movie, oh God, like I'm kind of debating between a 6 and a 7, but I'm probably more... I'm going to go with a 7 because a 6 is a movie that is like I never have to watch again. While like a 7, I'm not always going to be watching the movie every time, but it's every time I watch it, I enjoy it. It's not... I don't find it to be a bad movie. It's just not my thing. But I find it very entertaining, and I do truly enjoy it. And I see the creativity and the effort that they put in the movie.
Put a lot of effort in it. You can tell they had fun with it.
Yeah.
For sure. So I give it an 8. It's not scary. It's not scary at all. I grew up watching this movie all the freaking time. But I love this movie, and it's a lot of fun. They basically had one job: listen to the rules, don't do the thing, and they did the thing repeatedly.
Yeah.
So And of course, shenanigans ensue. So, I mean, you can easily see where it's gonna go. Like, as soon as the kid mentions the rules when he's giving the Mogwai to the dad, you know it's gonna happen.
Yeah. But I think there's a certain setup of these types of movies where you know shenanigans is going to ensue, but it's just kind of like enjoying the journey to it.
Yeah.
And I don't... The only thing that I don't necessarily enjoy about this movie is they have a lot of the characters be like buttheads. But it's like, I know... I mean, it's Steven Spielberg. He knows what's up. So he obviously did that on purpose. But I will say that if anyone threatened my animal like that old lady did, yep. It's just no excuse for that. But I feel like nowadays we have, I don't know, but I feel like in the 80s there's a lot less like animal rights, and then nowadays, I don't know, people are a little bit more conscious of that. But,
yeah.
Yep.
If she had done anything, though, if they had proof, she could be brought up on charges still.
Yeah. Yeah.
But regardless, when she dies, you're not exactly sad to see her go.
It was pretty funny though, because whenever...
It's one of the most comical deaths.
I know, it was the best, but I love that scene though, because it's like, we're like, oh, of course she's a crazy cat lady, and then I made the comment, it's like, oh, she's one of those crazy cat ladies that buried her husband in the backyard. But like, and then they even show a picture of her late husband that she like passes by. But yeah, her death, like zooming up, that is pretty entertaining. I'm not gonna lie, but I feel like they made her out to appear like a jerk, so that way whenever she dies, it was extra funny and satisfying.
Yeah. You just sit there. So we were watching this movie, and then she dies, and I'm like, well, clearly the Gremlins aren't all that bad.
It's like they just have a sick sense of humor. It's like either you get it or you don't.
They were just really messy.
Yeah.
That was the thing that kept getting me. They're so messy. But it's really funny. And I love, like, the bar scene. When they're all in the bar. You see, like, 20 different cliches and references from other things. And it's hard not to laugh during some of them. Because it's just so funny and over the top.
Yeah, it's
just so over the top.
Like that scene, and then I think the movie theater scene is my favorite, just because they're all singing along with Snow White.
Disney brings everyone together.
And then even like Gizmo is joining in. Like, this movie is precious.
It's a catchy song. There weren't that many Disney movies out at the time. So, I mean...
Well, and then that was also before the time where they actually had movies available to buy and keep. So it's like they would essentially go through phases where they would re-roll the movies back into theaters, so that way you would watch them.
And they do a lot of that now in the summertime too, because they know kids are off from school and things like that. A lot of times they'll have like Kids Day kind of things at the movie theaters, and they'll show different animated movies just so kids will have something to do during the week. They can go see a movie that they enjoy.
Yeah, but it is a crazy concept that, like, back in the day, you couldn't buy the copy of the movie. You had to go to theaters repeatedly, which is a very expensive trip.
You couldn't stream it either. The internet wasn't a thing.
Yeah, so nuts.
This was in '84. The internet was not a thing. So it was great. I also love the science teacher death scene when they show him dead.
The
his head
shot's
under
right
the desk.
in his butt.
There's a syringe in his butt.
Just spit. Yeah, like I could honestly picture, like, if it was a young enough kid, this being a scary movie. Like, I recognize that I was scared very easily as a kid, and if I saw this whenever I was young enough, this would have scared the crap out of me. But I mean,
I don't think I was that scared. Except by like spiders, I wasn't really. I don't know. I'd feel the adrenaline rush and I'd get a little nervous and a little scared during some certain scenes and things. But this movie, no, this movie to me was like Mars Attacks. It was so funny and stupid. I could not be scared by it. I was laughing too hard. There was no way I could be scared by it. I was too busy laughing.
But regardless, like, this is a very fun, entertaining movie, and at least I don't have really any nostalgia glasses on because I saw this pretty late in my life. But I can see why people enjoy it. But the only reason why I didn't rate it higher is just because it's not my thing. And all of our ratings are, you know, they're personal. You know, I'm not giving my rating with the expectation that other people must agree with me, and that, you know, is like I just kind of, the purpose of our ratings is to give you guys kind of an idea on our general thoughts before we get down into the nitty gritty, as like an easy summary for what our thoughts are on the movie.
Yeah, and I do think it's a really fun movie. It's it's easily a family movie. They don't really have any, like, gore or... I mean, they have a little bit of violence here and there. Some of the Gremlins do use guns.
But it's a PG movie. It's like, you don't want super small kids necessarily watching it. But I mean, if you have kids that are, you know, about to, like, I'd say, like, for sure, like 10 years old and up, there wouldn't be any issues. Prior to that, I know there's a few parents that might, you know. I said a few. I
think like 5.
I don't know.
It's not that bad. Honestly, the thing that scared me the most was the lady, the crazy lady, threatening his dog.
Yeah. Yeah, that she wanted to freaking euthanize his dog for, like, accidentally messing up her snowman. It's like, it's a dog. It doesn't know any better. It didn't have any malicious intent. Yeah.
And she has no proof it was his dog. Yeah. She just assumed it was his dog.
Yeah.
Rude.
Rude. But anyways, I don't think I can really say anything additional for entertainment. I mean, it's Gremlins. It's like, you either enjoy the movie, you either don't, or you're like me and you're just like, it's fine.
It's a fun movie.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will say, like, even though it's not like my kind of movie, I really did find it entertaining, and I did enjoy the majority of the film. So it's not like it's a bad movie by any means.
It does have a slight trigger warning. I will mention that. One of the characters has a kind of a tragic backstory.
Mm-hmm.
And her father, when he was trying to surprise his family, was going down the chimney before Christmas, and which was not a great idea. Let's all acknowledge that. It was not the brightest idea. And he was dressed as Santa, and he slipped and fell while he was climbing down and broke his neck. And he died. And they didn't know. And they didn't find out until almost a week later, when it was really, really cold in the house, and she went to go to the fireplace to start a fire, and she noticed the smell. So,
yeah, that's pretty horrific.
Fair warning there.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Little uncomfortable scene there.
Yeah, it was mostly like you feel bad for her. But
Yeah.
I also kind of hate that they're like, oh, she doesn't like Christmas because something traumatic happened. It's like, you can not like Christmas because something didn't happen.
Yeah.
So,
Well, also, they do talk a little bit about like suicide rates being higher around the holidays, and she does mention like someone's opening presents and others are slitting their wrists. Like it's
it's a hard time of the
a
year.
little bit, yeah. So there are resources nowadays, though, for people that need someone to talk to or that are having a rough time this time of year. And I'm sure we'll post here and there different avenues that you can go through if you are someone that needs someone else to talk to or one of those resources.
Yeah, especially with like the pandemic. Like, I bet this is going to be an extra hard year. Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, I would be surprised if I saw my family this year, but I'm very lucky in having a good family. And I know that not everyone is fortunate to either have a good family or have a family that they can come to during the holidays at all.
Yeah. I am seeing some of my family, but we are trying to keep it very small, just like immediate family only. And otherwise, we just stay away from everyone. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we are being safe.
Well, shall we move on to realism?
Yep.
Alrighty. Well, oh man.
I'm going to give this one a low score. Don't even worry about
Okay,
it.
okay.
Like, realism is going out the window with this movie.
Yeah, like
It's fun to watch. Zero realistic.
really the only thing that I can really absolutely believe is the fact that they can't follow directions. Like, you know that shit's gonna happen.
Maybe a 2.
Yeah, it's like it's not so out there that it's doesn't like completely take you away from reality, but it's also like obviously a very fun movie and you're not like believing that's happening. So
Yeah.
I think I'm going to probably rate it a 2 because like I said, the most realistic part of the movie is the fact that they couldn't follow directions.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, nobody follows directions because, yep, no further
And
comments.
he did try to go to the police. When he knew what was happening, he did go to the police and he did try to explain and warn them.
Yeah.
So there's that. Hi, Navi. We have a guest star.
He's happy. Yeah,
Is she though? She looks a
look
little.
at her paw. She's kneading. She is purring.
I'm looking
so
at her
loud.
face.
It's because her eyes are like in the sun. She is purring away. She is a very happy kitty right now.
I was more concerned about her ears. They were a certain way that usually with her means I'm annoyed with you.
No, she's fine. She's really good. If she's annoyed, she'll like meow. And then that's my warning on, you better stop it or I'm going to bite you. But she's a sweet kitty. She rarely does that.
She's very pretty.
The worst part about her is she likes to give love nibbles. So if you pet her and she's like rubbing her face, it's like, you better be careful because sometimes she'll just
that's because she requires 3.7125 pets exactly. Any more than that and she bites the crap out of you as per protocol.
Well, but like what's weird is it's not like she got overstimulated like some cat, because I had a cat growing up where it's like I would pet her and then after like 10 minutes she would just bite the crap out of me and then like run away. It's like, no, Navi is legitimately enjoying her pets. It's just biting is it's a love nibble. She's like, oh, I love that. It's like she doesn't like jump away from me or want me to stop petting her. She's just like, I love this so much that I want to nibble you. Yeah, she's
Okay.
yep. But yeah, so realism, like probably the thing that, or the two things that blow the realism scale out of the water for sure is the rules for these creatures. I mean, there's no animal on this planet that exists that's like, you can't do this or this or this. I mean, obviously, like, there's like, oh, fish can't breathe out of water and, simple stuff like that. But that's kind of obvious. And then, of course, the deaths are very over the top.
Well, every living creature on this planet needs water. Even plants. Plants need water.
Yep.
They might need a smaller amount for like succulents, cacti, things like that. They might need a very small amount of it, but they still need water.
Yeah. It'd be funny if they were like the air plants where they get the water from the air. But then it's like,
I'm like, how do you keep it clean if you're not allowed to give it a bath?
well, and then also the fact that they're like, oh, you can't give it water. I'm like, you realize that water is in the air. So what if they move to a very tropical climate? It's like, at what humidity level is it considered giving them water?
Yeah. Does it have to be liquid water too? Because they were around snow a lot.
Yeah, like that. I understand that it's a family-friendly type of movie, and they didn't think through the rules, but you can very easily pick down the rules, like, the stuff with the water, but then also, like, when you feed them, like, what time zone? Like, do they just adjust to your time zone? Like, and then at what point...
Listen to why I was asking that.
And then at what point does the past midnight point start? Because, like, what if you're one of those people that wakes up at 5 a.m. and you want to feed your animal? Like, is it still considered after midnight, or is it then the morning?
Yeah, is it just from, like, midnight to 1, or is it, like, until dawn? Which varies, depending on where you are. But they can't be in direct sunlight either, and they were very, very inconsistent about how much light was too much light.
Yeah.
So in some cases, they were in a rather well-lit kitchen when the mom was fighting them, and they didn't seem to care. And then they go to the bar, which was dimmer, and then she had a little flame on a match, and it was getting antsy about that. So, pick one.
Yeah. It's kind of like Lights Out, where it's like, it's very, anything that has to do with light, it's very hard to stay consistent. Because it's like, it's a movie, like, well, I mean, even in, like, real life, but, like, specifically in a movie, having the lighting in a certain way really helps project the mood that you're trying to portray. Yes. And so if you're like, we need to keep the light specific and we need to, keep at a certain level, that's going to really flatten the dynamic of the movie and how it comes off as.
It can. It depends on how they play the rest of it. Now, I feel like sound is easier to manipulate. Because, like, there are other movies like Venom, for example. A certain noise level or sounds over a certain decibel level was harmful to them. That is finite. Yeah. And easily, like, okay, from this volume level on is bad.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
You could measure it. Yeah.
Yes, that's easily measured and that's fine. Light, on the other hand, it depends on the intensity,
the type
what
of
strength.
light.
Is it certain type? Like, is it certain, like, red hues or blue hues? What exactly is harmful to them?
And then what about, like, LED lights? Or
exactly.
Yeah.
Is it certain wavelengths? How does infrared affect them? Like, there are different types of light and wavelengths, and it's hard to be very consistent with that. It's very, very vague.
Yeah.
And very subjective.
I also wonder, like, aren't X-rays considered on a similar wavelength? Like, we just can't see it? Or am I going crazy?
It's a different spectrum, but it is a wave.
Okay, because since light is the type of wave, that also makes me wonder, it's like, well, are there other types of waves that affect them? Or is it because the colors that we see, isn't that based off of different frequencies of the wavelength? Okay, so it's like...
Yeah, it's the different lengths of the wavelength. So it's... And is it visible light only that hurts them?
Yeah. And then it's like, well, what if they have, like, better or worse eyesight than we do? Then how do we determine?
Like, is it all their skin? If they happen to have thicker fur, are they more or less susceptible to it?
Yeah,
we have questions.
Yeah, we can break it down to the scientific stuff real quick.
Because we can't help it. So if you're gonna have rules like that, at least have some that make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, even Pitch Black had some kind of rules and logic for their creatures. Any kind of light seemed to really harm them. They were staying away from the glowing worms from the cave. Like, any kind of light was no bueno. So, I don't know. I feel like it could have been done a little better. Could have been handled a little better for this movie. But, again, not realistic at all.
Yeah.
But super fun to watch.
Yeah. And I also think, the purpose of the movie wasn't like, oh, let's create these really cool creatures. Or it's more like a mayhem movie. It's like, we want to set it up for the characters to fail and then for chaos to ensue type of thing. And they just essentially use the creatures to fill in that gap. So I mean, it's completely fair. It's just how me and Jess's brain work. It's like, we just need to think it through and
help it.
like movie plot holes. Like, specifically for, like, anime and stuff, like Code Geass. I love Code Geass. It's one of my favorite animes of all time. But I can pull out the plot holes like no other, and it just drives me insane. I'm like, if they would have just, like, I understand anime is extremely, like, tough because they have, like, all these time constraints and stuff like that, but it's like, I feel like they could have fixed a few things and it would have made it better. But I mean, like, that's me for, like, any TV show or movie. Is like, if there's a plot hole, it's gonna drive me nuts.
I heard of one a couple months ago that I never really thought of, but is completely true. So in Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I'm sure I'm gonna get a lot of crap for this.
Oh no. Oh no.
Indiana Jones was completely unnecessary in that movie.
Navi, she's trying to drink my tea.
So, hear me out, guys. I do love the movie. I do. But it still would have ended the same way whether he was there or not. The Nazis would still have found the Ark. They still would have opened it. And they still would have all died.
Yeah. That's a fun movie, though.
It is. It's very fun. But it's things like that we can't help but, like, really analyze.
Yeah. That's why I feel like if we could ever make our own movie, it would be freaking sweet, because we would think of all of the plot holes.
It would also take us forever, because we would be, like, over-analyzing every little thing and critiquing everything.
Yeah. It's true.
Probably be, like, 1,000 different rewrites on every scene.
Yeah.
So.
But one day, maybe.
But yeah. So let us know what you guys think. I don't really have anything else on the realism scale.
It's Gremlins. It's pretty straightforward. But yeah, let us know what you guys think, what you would rate the movie. Are you more towards like how I am, where it's like you enjoy the movie, but it's just like kind of like it's not like your go-to every year movie, or are you more like Jess, where you have to watch it every year and you are a traditionalist? And
There's a handful of movies that I have to watch around this time of year. Every year, and this is one of them. Just not the holiday season without it.
well,
So let us know, guys.
I know
what
that
you think.
Yes, and the next couple of weeks we'll be covering the movies that I find to be my Christmas tradition movies. So I'm excited.
I love how one of them, I want to say it's the next one that we're watching, we first watched together. And now every year since, we have to watch it together.
Yes, yes.
So let us know what y'all's movies are too. If you have certain movies that you have to watch around this time of year every year, let us know what they are. Share with us your traditions and things, and we'll share some of ours as the month goes on.
Yeah, and it would be fun if you have like any like spookier Christmas movies that are your go-to. But of course, if you just have your like Christmas Vacation or whatever, like those types of traditional movies, and yeah, we'd love to hear.
All the time. And any other traditions too. I like hearing other people's experiences with this holiday season and what other families do.
Yeah.
There's my in-laws always make chocolate covered pretzels every year as a family. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to do it this year because of everything going on, but it's just something they do, and it's small, but you're together and it's fun.
Yeah.
Plus you get something delicious that you get to eat afterwards. So.
And even if you aren't celebrating Christmas, if you have traditions for whatever holiday you celebrate in December, we'd love to hear, because I've have very light exposure. Like I way back in elementary school, like I had a Jewish friend, and nowadays I know a few people that practice paganism, but I feel like I'm not as exposed to that stuff as I could be, for sure.
Yes, we would love to hear other people's experiences and traditions. So let us know. And we will see you guys next time. So in the meantime, stay safe and stay spoopy.
Bye, guys.
Bye.